Hello everybody, my name is Hulla. I work with Boas and Dynamics. We support organizations and public administrations how to create more people impact. Thank you all for joining me today. Let me just share my screen. Because this is today about the best people management strategies for the public service. Now, we want to talk about today about the drivers of best practices and some strategies and examples of other administrations, how they perform in these kind of exciting circumstances. Because you all know the world is changing. We have the pandemic now and we have to adapt to this. Yet, if you think for a minute, the pandemic has changed a lot of things, but many of the trends that we are currently seeing and that are boosted were there before. We experienced many things that are not new, but have been there for a while. So, for instance, the Internet of Everything, it's about the connection of things, data, and services, but also the Internet of people. That makes the Internet of everything. Everything comes together. This is a major trend since 10 years at least. Now, this is driving a couple of things. First of all, you have ever more demanding citizens and customers. They want it faster, they want more, and of course they want it smarter, whatever service you are offering. So that's a major trend since years now. Another aspect is, of course, this impact of digitalization is transforming jobs tremendously, fundamentally. And we know from a study that 70% of French civil servants will see job impacted by digitalization. So that's huge, that's massive. And it goes beyond and across any kind of agencies. It's not just the knowledge workers, it's beyond everything, police and so forth. You know that better than I do eventually. So another thing is we have from neuroscience, we have new insights. We know that many of the thinking we had before is no longer working. There are new truths about it. So do you have personally a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? So a fixed mindset is you believe in a certain level of intelligence you may have, and you know you have to sweat your personal assets hard, work hard to get the best results. Yet if you have a growth mindset, those people are much more successful in complex environments where it's a lot about ambiguity. You believe in creativity, you believe in collaboration, you learn from failures, you exploit the world in a different way. So this is fundamental thinking that we should all be aware of. Now, organizations are responding to these kind of trends. The Internet of Everything cannot be managed and cannot be performed by organizations that are rather hierarchical. They have these silos and are not up to speed with all the things that are happening in the world right now. Now, organizations must be more like organisms, fast-paced and focus on action and more end-to-end responsibility, starting with the citizen, starting with the consumer, the customer, the key stakeholders of your agencies. But let me share some strategies and examples that other public administrations are applying. First of all, many administrations, civil service is thinking through how to best address work relations, how to best create public value, because the boundaries of the core public sector are changing. Now, when you work with non-governmental actors, you have to learn new skills and you have to bring in maybe different thinking in your organization in order to set up those kind of relationships. A good example what Australia did in this regard is also they embarked on a value-based culture. So they have embedded values in everything what they do. And they are expanding this also looking into non-governmental actors, how they can work with them, what kind of values they share, and whether it's going to work together in a good way. Also values in public documents, they help shape expectations, and also in Australia, senior management in public service is hold to account for demonstrating these values. So it's a whole human resources practice that they have disseminated. Another question is, of course, which capabilities does your civil service need in order to manage the future well? Is your public service prepared? Now, there are a lot of elements that go to this, but what cuts across is that all administrations are thinking about their innovation capabilities, and this is probably why you are here today, about their strategic orientation. So how much are they prepared for the future, and also the professional expertise they may need in order to manage the future well. Now, here are some examples from countries that have embarked on mobility programs, so really transferring staff from one agency to the other, or eventually recruiting externally in order to build their expertise, what they don't have inside. Canada with external recruitment, France and the UK with talent programs to develop their internal staff to be able to meet the demands of the future. So these are always mobility, so moving from job to job, from agency to other agencies in order to learn on site what are good ways and best practices in your country. Also, when it comes to leadership, and this is quite important, the most important part is then to prepare the organization for the future. That's your job, basically. Now, we see with all this changing world that we need to embark on this called ambidextrous leadership, meaning you have a right half of the brain and a left half of the brain, and they work very differently. So one part is more like command and control, optimizing, cost, analyzing things, and the other one is more about the creativity and speed and trial and error and really different things. So these moods are sometimes competing with each other, but what we learn in complex environments, as we're in now, we have to work with both hands. So ambidextrous leadership means use your both hands, use both halves of your brain. That's very different. Bring in your emotions, also bring in your creativity, collaborate more with others. So this is a fundamental requirement for you as leaders. And more specifically, of course, as a leader, you have to ask yourself, why should anybody work for you? This is a key question if you want to attract high expertise, different expertise, if you want to retain key talents that are vital, for instance, for your digital strategy, what you need in every single department and agency, then you think through what kind of elements you may need in order to attract and retain the key talent in your civil service. A good example is the UK. They provide success profiles for critical roles, and success profiles incorporate the strategy that is designed because they explain and explore how certain roles, what they need in terms of technical requirements of experience. That's not new, but they also demonstrate what kind of attitude you should have when performing your job. They also demonstrate what kind of behaviors you should show when performing these jobs. And by doing so, embarking on this new world, on the future of work, of course, is you have to demonstrate different behaviors using the left and the right hand of your brain, and doing more collaboration and so forth, what I mentioned before. So this is a good way of shaping the organization. And then lastly, just for you, when you go home now, I would like to encourage you to really involve your stakeholders. Because based on the research, what we see is you have to reach out to others. You have to put your heart into what you're doing. So you collaborate by working out loud methodologies. So there are also online tools when you work remotely. It's a new way of solving problems and structuring work. And also these stand-up meetings, it's quick and fast, and every morning 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can do this online. What's the issue? Where do we need action? Is anything needed? Just checking in quickly. And of course, the key element is fostering well-being. Well-being is such a huge topic nowadays. All the HR, human resources trends are showing well-being is a key element. You have to connect with people proactively, and you have to take notice, recognition, and you have to give everything you have as a human being so that your people can keep on learning, and you can foster well-being, give them the flexibility, ask them what they need in order to shape the environment where they can perform best. Because at the end of the day, especially in a crisis, it is your legacy, how you manage. And with reaching out to people, collaborating across boundaries, you're well set for the future. Thank you very much.